In this video, I'm sharing the absolute best Fallout 4 building mods that you can get on PC. I've been building, modding, and even creating mods in this game for nearly a decade, which is insane to think about. And over the years, I've made several of these lists, but these are the mods that have stood the test of time. This is the definitive list of PC settlement building mods that you will find. It's a bold claim, but I'm prepared to back it up. So let's get into it. I know you want to get right into the list, but this part is important for context, so don't skip it, okay? If you skip it, we will know, and it will just be embarrassing for you, all right? So I've broken this list into two categories, must-haves and nice-to-haves. There's a decent amount of overlap, meaning some mods give you the same stuff, but the items that are unique to each of them are so good that it's worth having that redundancy in your menus. Also, a lot of these mods were actually featured in my best Xbox mods video with similar, if not exactly the same commentary. That should tell you just how good these mods are. I just want to call that out for anyone who's in the comments like, hey, he already said this. This is bullshit. And finally, when it comes to building mods, I always go lore friendly. I've said this for years, but I just want all the items that Bethesda has to build with in the creation kit, but in our workshop menu. And the mods in this list get very, very close to that. And by the way, all of the mods that I've used across all platforms, including the ones that I've created, can be found on the Fallout page of my website if you want to check those out. Okay, that's all I wanted to say. Thank you for not skipping. If you skipped, I know who you are and you will be hearing from me. All right, we're gonna cover the must-haves first, starting with Place Everywhere. I start with this mod in every single video because it is the best mod, okay? I don't care, fight me. It's the best one. Now, yes, it lets you place anything down anywhere you want. It's always green, never red. You can just do whatever you want. But the beauty of this mod lies within the keyboard commands. I made a whole separate video explaining how all of them work, so definitely go check that out. But for this video, just to show you a little bit of what you can do, say I have the shack foundation here that I want to be a little bit lower than the rest. If I hit 2, it starts to lower it down for me. And see how slow that's going? If I hit multiply or divide, I can change the movement speed. And you can see it covers more distance with each click. And the whole point of that is that it keeps it all perfectly aligned with where it snapped, but it just lowered it down for me without having to like mess around with it to line it up perfectly. Another good example is that there's grass sticking out of the floors here. So if I just hit 8, it raises it up a little bit to get rid of the grass, and then I can snap everything else around it to that raised piece. You see, it's just like this little fine tuning without having to redo everything. And this works for every possible direction. So say I want to place this bridge right here to the left, but it will only snap in the middle. Totally fine. I'll just snap it in, and then I'll jump up here, stand as straight as I can with it, and then just hit 6, and look at it go. Look at it. It just moves for me. And there we go. I didn't have to hit like F1 or F2 to turn off snapping and then try to like line it up. It just moved over. But now wait a second. I just saw this bridge that looks better than the one that I put over there. So now I got to do it all over again. Or I can just highlight it, hit the plus or equals key, and it stores the parameters, and then just delete it, go over to the one that I want over there, and then hit 0, and then bingo, look at that. It just pops right over there. So this is just a few things that you can do with Place Everywhere. I cover everything else in that dedicated video, which is linked in the description. Next up is Scrap Everything. This allows you to scrap nearly everything within your settlements. For some reason, Bethesda thought it would be fun for us to not be able to clean up the trash, the weeds, the leaves, the debris, and all the other shit within our settlements and just build around them like savages. So Scrap Everything lets you remove all that. Now there are a few different scrap mods out there. I even list a few more on my website, and they all work pretty much the same. You just have to be careful because you can accidentally scrap things that you don't want to, and there's no undo button, so just be careful. The next one is pretty simple, but also very valuable. It's called Faster Workshop, and essentially what it does is loads your workshop menu faster. Once you start using all of these mods that add a ton of items to your workshop menu, the game has to load all of them at the same time. So this mod greatly helps with that. Move that workbench. This allows you to move that workbench. Sometimes I don't want the workbench here. Sometimes I want it over there, or in my house, or in this guy's house, or floating above her house. And this mod allows you to move it wherever you want. Very, very simple feature that probably should have been in the game to begin with. Now, Conquest is such a great mod. This lets you build a settlement pretty much anywhere on the map. You just go into your Pip-Boy, place down a campsite, and then you have the option to turn it into a settlement with all the menu items and even a map marker on your map that you can fast travel to. It's always worked great. It's always been around. We love it. Next up is Settlement Menu Manager. This adds a holotape to your Pip-Boy that has the option to fix your workshop menu. For whatever reason, sometimes mods will conflict with each other and cause your menu to get messed up, and this mod fixes it. One note on this is that when you select Fix Workshop Menu in the holotape, it can take some time to complete. When it's done, you'll see this message. So I recommend waiting until you see this message before loading back into your workshop menu if you're trying to fix something. Next up is Power Conduits Radius Increase. This mod simply triples the radius of your power conduits, meaning that they cover more ground to where you don't have to use as many to power your settlements. It's a very simple mod, but very, very convenient. Next is All Settlements Expanded. This is another simple mod that expands the borders of your settlements, meaning that you can build outside of the original borders if you want a little bit more space. There are a lot of mods out there like this that are great. This is just the current one that I'm using. Now we're getting into what I call overhaul mods, and of course the first one I want to talk about is Workshop Rearranged. I will live and die by this mod. It adds so much to the workshop menu: structures, furniture, decorations, power, crafting, shops, you name it. It's a very large mod. But what I love most about it is that it greatly improves the snapping system. I forget how much snapping sucks without Workshop Rearranged. This feature alone is why I always use this mod and not something like Unlock Settlement Objects or USO. USO is great, it does a lot of the same things and is very popular, especially on PlayStation, but it doesn't help with snapping, and there are a lot of structures that just won't snap together. And last note on Workshop Rearranged is that it doesn't work well with other mods that impact your workshop menu, but there are patches for the majority of mods out there. You just download the patches and place them below Workshop Rearranged in your load order, and everything should be fine. Next is another one that I always talk about, and that is Snappy House Kit. If you want nearly all of the building kits that Bethesda used to make the structures in the game, this is the mod that does that. You get access to what feels like every type of structure. You get churches, skyscrapers, parking garages, houses, and so much more. Plus, it gives you a ton of decorations and even wallpapers and floor covers so that you can change the look of most of the building kits. It's pretty amazing. One recommendation with this mod is to pick a building kit and try building a structure just from that kit. There is a bit of a learning curve, and when you try to start mixing materials, it can get kind of confusing on how they all snap together. So if you're just starting out, just try one at a time. Don't go crazy. The next one I want to talk about is CVC Dead Wasteland. This is another big overhaul mod. It adds so much stuff, but some of my favorites are the prefabs. I love me a good prefab, man. It just makes building so much easier and just makes your settlements look really cool. But we have like a little walkway, big old sanctuary houses. Then we have like these little bus stops that you can easily turn into like a little shack. And then we have little shacks and some like Diamond City shacks. It's just like all sorts of stuff from the game. And that's just the prefab stuff. It even has like these capsules that you can make. They're modular, so you can like snap them together. Also has like a whole diner set, an industrial set. I could talk about what all this mod has for like a 2-hour-long video. So it's definitely one of those that you just need to have in your load order, because if you're looking for something particular, it probably has it. Next is one that I haven't really talked about before, and that's Woody's Wasteland stuff. This one is also just amazing. It's not like a full overhaul mod, but it has some like really interesting stuff in here. All of it is very lore friendly and just kind of builds on that wooden shack vibe that we had from the start of the game. And it's like everything we needed: half walls, more flat walls, and the windows. Come on, man. This is what we needed from the start of the game, like 10 years ago. Bethesda, what the hell? The decorations are super cool. We got a ton in here, but my favorites being the awnings and the window shutters and window boxes. So you're gonna give me windows and then give me cool decorations to go with them. Okay. It even has a fireplace, and that's what sold me on it. A fireplace built into the wall that you can like snap the chimneys on top of. Get out of here. So if you really like that old school, like wooded shack, vanilla looking builds, this is the perfect addition for that. Next up is Settlement Objects Expanded, also known as SOE. This one adds a lot of structures, furniture, and decorations that the other mods don't have, and is especially good for adding Institute items if you're doing an Institute type build. But my favorite parts of this mod are the power generators and the lighting effects. I love these tiny little generators that give off a ton of power, so that way we can easily power our settlements without having to find space for the big ass ones that don't really do much. So that's one. The other is lighting effects. This is the coolest part. We get these spheres that only appear in workshop mode that lets us control the lighting within our settlements. So how it works is that you pick a style, the radius, and the color, and then simply place the sphere wherever you want. This is basically just ambient lighting that doesn't require any power source. So if you don't want to have to put a ton of light bulbs around, you can just get one of these to help expand the lighting. And as soon as you leave workshop mode, the sphere goes away, but the lighting stays. It's so cool, and I love it so much. Next up is a mod that I've always used called G2M Workshop. This one has some really interesting structures and all that, but my favorite part, and the reason why it made the list, are these containers. These are completely modular, so you can make all sorts of different variations. I made an entire build just by using these containers, and it was one of my favorite ones yet. Link in the description, by the way. Plus, it gives things like these sky bridges, which is what I use for the wall of my sanctuary build. So a lot of really cool stuff in this mod. Highly recommend you should check it out. Next is Grounded. Grounded is amazing. Essentially, you get all sorts of walls and floors that have outdoor textures like sand, grass, rock, or whatever, to where you can build like underground shelters or really whatever you want. You even get full rocks and grass mounds to build with, so you can really get creative with this. I've used Grounded before to make an entire island in the middle of the ocean. That was a lot of fun. So definitely check out this mod and see what you can come up with. All right, moving on to decoration mods. And the first one that I have to talk about, of course, is Creative Clutter. Another mod that Cordless VII seems to never stop talking about, but there's a reason for it. Creative Clutter gives you a whole new menu worth of all sorts of decorations. It gives a ton of individual items, but my favorite pieces are the ones that are already decorated. So if you don't want to spend a lot of time decorating a coffee table, for instance, they already have some decorated for you, and they look awesome. Another thing that I love about this mod is that you can build your own workbenches. This little thing right here is an armor workbench. And they have empty workbenches like this, where you can snap 3 different types of workbenches onto it. And then boom, you have armor, weapons, and chem stations all right here in this tiny little workbench. Such an amazing mod. If I was only able to have 2 mods at any given time, it would be Workshop Rearranged and Creative Clutter. Do It Your Shelf. This is a staple mod that I've had since the beginning. It adds a lot of different types of shelves, bookcases, and other types of containers, along with pre-made decor that snaps right into them. It's simple, but so convenient and saves a lot of time if you're looking to clutter up your settlements. In a good way. You know, we love clutter. And a good pun, so win-win. Download this mod. Next up is called Red Rocket TV Workshop. I've been kind of sleeping on this mod. I've seen it around, never really played with it, but then I downloaded it for this video and holy shit. There is so much in here and it's all so well done. It's just like an extension of Creative Clutter, which I think the mod author is a part of the Creative Clutter team, so that kind of checks out. This is another one of those mods where I could spend like an entire video talking about what all it has, but some of my favorite pieces that I've seen so far are these half booths. What? Half booths. I never even thought about that, but now that I see them, I'm like, this could go in every single build. Holy shit. Mini fridge, just like in the shelf already. Amazing. And then there's like all these other shelves that like things will snap onto, and then even posters. I feel like a lot of posters from other mods just kind of take me out of the game, you know, but this one just builds on the existing ones that we have, and they look so good. But yeah, such a great mod, especially like going with Creative Clutter. If you had just these 2 for decorations, you would be set. Modular kitchens is another one that I've always used because everyone deserves a good kitchen. This adds what feels like the entire catalog of kitchen sets. You got the top cabinets, the bottom cabinets, the sinks, the refrigerators, whatever this is supposed to be, and all sorts of other decorations that go with the kitchen setup thing. Plus, you have the clean, pristine pre-war versions or the beat to shit post-war versions. So whatever kind of kitchen you want, you got it. This is slowly turning into an infomercial, and I don't mean for that to happen, so just download the mod. It's great. All right, moving into the nice-to-have mods. Now, this doesn't mean that these mods aren't sick, because they are. The main reasons I broke out the list this way was for those of you who maybe don't like to have a ton of mods loaded at one time, or if your PC is just having a hard time running all these at once. First is Cheat Terminal, which is fantastic even outside of building. This also adds a holotape to your Pip-Boy that will pretty much do whatever you want, like level up your character, unlock perks, spawn in armor or weapons, and a ton of other things outside of settlement building. But the most important is that it will spawn in all of the building resources with just a click of a button. It's super convenient if you're just trying to build and you don't want to have to go scavenge for stuff. Now, the reason this is in the nice to have list on PC is because you can just go into the command console, type in TGM, toggle God mode, and then you can build anything you want without needing the resources or skills to do it. Yeah, that's why they call us the master race. Welcome to God mode, fellas. Next up is kind of a weird one. It's called pocket vehicles. I've used it for a very long time, and essentially what it does is turn your character into different types of vehicles so that you can just zoom through the Commonwealth. The reason why I like it for building is because I can turn into a UFO, go into workshop mode, and fly around while building. It does make you move very quickly as a UFO, which checks out. So it just takes some time to get used to. But I had to include it in this list because it's super useful, especially when building large settlements, or even just flying around Boston looking for a new area to build with Conquest. Only clear weather for the Commonwealth makes it to where the weather is always clear and sunny in the Commonwealth. Simple, but nice. Another pretty straightforward mod. I like it so that I'm not building in fog or radiation storms. You know? Next up is a mod called Homemaker. Honestly, this one has a lot of similar stuff that Workshop Rearrange does, but it adds a couple of things that I can't do without, such as all these different types of trees and bushes. You know we love a good bush. Plus, it gives us all these different types of prefabs. I just love prefabs. They look cool, they save me a lot of time. Just give me some prefabs and some bushes and I am there. Next up is Easy Home Builder. This is like probably the most unique mod that I have in this list. What I love most about it is that it gives you these pre-war player homes that are like fully done on the inside, and they function and look just like the house in our opening segment of the game. They even have like carports that you can just like snap onto the side of it. Same thing with the Covenant houses. They're just like a little bit cleaner, polished up, and then completely done on the inside. Like, look at this. Do they have one that is 2-story? Let me see. No, but still super nice. It did the same thing with the cabins too. They just cleaned them up, fixed the railing, gave them a nice coat of paint, and then here we go. Some like old vehicles. Like, look at this car. Hell yeah. Look at that. And a lot of people ask where I got that flat screen monitor. It's from this mod. That's where the flat screen monitor is. It does come with this chair, which is kind of annoying, but it is super cool. And on top of that, it has a fully modular sanctuary house build set. This is the best one that I have seen to date. It's so cool. It works very, very well. Comes in a bunch of different colors too. The only issue is that there's no post-war sets. You know, I just want some like beat to shit walls to match the game a little better. Oh, and the last thing, the cherry on top, is that all the houses can be powered directly. They all have some sort of conduit on them, and then you just connect them to power, put any lights in there, and they light up. Amazing. Next up is the Curo tab. This mod adds a ton of stuff, most notably being the retextures of the main walls that we have from the start of the game, which look really cool and help mix up your textures, especially when you're using a lot of the same items. But my favorite part, and the reason why it keeps making the list, is because of this thing. This like chain link fence bridge thing. I love it so much. It works so well for like entrances to your settlements. Like, let me show you. You can place this one down, and then maybe do like a fence. This is like one of the retexture ones. You can see how the wood is like a little sanded. Fence here, and then bingo, look at that. Super quick, and it already looks awesome. All from the Curo tab. Next up is pre-war and post-war sanctuary house build set. This mod adds a menu for pre-war and post-war sanctuary house kits where you can basically rebuild the sanctuary houses. They aren't a one-for-one replica of the sanctuary houses, but they look pretty damn close. You can even use Place Anywhere to fix up the existing houses if you don't want to rebuild them from scratch. I just love these pieces and find myself using them a lot. Next up is Sabrina's workshop devices. This one has a little bit of a learning curve, but essentially it gives you all sorts of elevators, lifts, bridges, and powered doors that can be operated with switches. To give you an example, say that you want to have this powered armory door be like your main door to your house. Then you can go over to like the switches and buttons, grab a switch. This one looks cool. And then you can connect it to the door and it opens. And then you can hit it again and it closes. Tell me that's not cool. But you can do this with all sorts of things, like full-on elevators that have their own buttons. You got like a shack lift, quarry lift. This one's like pretty epic. And then some bridges that kind of work the same way. You just place this down, connect a switch to it, and then this will move up and down. Super crazy. It's just a lot of stuff like that that will add a little pizzazz to your settlements. So check it out. Next is Workshop Decorations Pack. This is similar to Creative Clutter, but it's not as large and mostly only gives pre-decorated items, which I love so much because it makes decorating that much easier. Most of the items in this mod are really unique, but still on theme with the game, which is like my go-to style, so definitely worth checking out. Next is OC Decorator. This adds all collectible junk items as static decor that you can decorate with to where they won't fall on the floor if you walk past them. It doesn't add in sets of decorations, just the individual items, which is cool. It's cool when you're like fine-tuning your decorations, you know? But I'll be honest, I don't use this as much. So if you're looking to cut down this list a little bit, you're probably fine with like not including this one. But I will say, I always end up needing something from it, even if it's just a little desk fan. But we need the desk fans sometimes, you know? I like the desk fan. Last of the decoration mods is Griffiths, Signs, and Posters. Griffiths, Signs, and Posters. I can never say that. I used to say Gruffy DDs, but someone let me know that that was wrong. So Griffiths, Signs, and Posters. This used to be an all-in-one mod that gave you any type of sign, poster, and wall decor. But they've changed it to where it's modular, so you can pick out which sets you want to include, which is really cool. So all you do is download the base mod and then pick out which sets you want to include in it, and they'll show up in your menu. So if you want like Signs of the Times, Business, or Factions, or Settlements, or whatever, you can download those individually. Next up is a mod called Better Stores. Now this one has been in my load order forever. And the only reason why is because, I mean, yes, there's some cool things in here like a guard dog or whatever, but the main two reasons why I have this mod still is because of this barber pole, which I cannot find in any other mod. I've looked, maybe I'm missing it, but I can only find it in this mod, and these shop signs. I just love how they take like the original design of like the general store, the weapons, whatever, and then turn them into these like little signs. I just love them. I always use them, and it's great. So it stays in the list. Next up is a mod called Snap and Build. Now this was like the very first mod that I've really ever used. I think it was like 9 years ago. And so it stayed in my load order just because it, you know, sentimental. I like it. But it also has two build sets that I haven't found in any other mods. The first one is this wooden build set, which is really cool. It just adds like the normal type walls that we have, but they have windows. Also, the roofs have windows and different kinds of windows. You see? They're pretty dope. Like I haven't found this in any other mod. And it has these modular door frames, which I love, again, because it gives us windows. We can just snap them in, or we can just do like simple panels or whatever, but I use these all the time in most of my builds. And the other build set is this real estate build set. I don't know where it's from. I haven't really seen like a white brick building somewhere, but this just looks sick. It has so many different types of walls, so many different types of windows, and then it has a roof to match it. This is one of those mods that's like, it doesn't do a lot, but what it does do, it does it very well. Vault 88, more vault rooms. This one is super specific, but absolutely necessary if you're doing a vault build. You see, what I loved about USO is that it gives us a ton of different vault rooms that Workshop Rearranged and the other mods didn't. And just recently, I found this mod that gives us those same rooms and more. So instead of having to download the entire USO mod just for the vault pieces, I can use this one instead. Highly recommend this if you're doing a vault build. And the mod that I saved for last is the one that I used before in a very popular build of mine, but it got taken off the mod page for some reason and no one could find it. But here we are, years later, and it's back. It's called Thematic and Practical. This is the mod that I used for the marketplace in my sanctuary build, specifically the circular structures here around the tree. I'm so happy that it's back, because this is the only build that I was able to do with it before it got removed, and I just think these structures are so cool and unique that we could do a lot with them. Plus, I had so many people ask me what mod these were from and were disappointed when it wasn't available anymore. So I'm happy to say that's back, it works, and you should definitely check it out. Actually, you should check out all of these mods, that's the whole point of this video, so check them all out and let me know what you think. But that is it for the list. These are all the mods that I'm using when I'm building on the PC. Now, a lot of these mods require different things. So like some of them need Fallout 4 script extender, some of them can only be found on Nexus, and some of them are just on the in-game menu. And if you need help sorting out all that or getting all that set up, let me know in the comments and I can make a separate video on it. Also, you can join my Discord server if you want to ask questions directly. But thank you all so much for watching. If there's any mods that you love that I didn't cover, let me know in the comments. Otherwise, thanks again, and I'll talk to you soon.